Deontological came from the Greek word din or deon, means to be obligated or simply duty. It recognizes actions that are done out of pure duty as the ones having moral worth. Everyone is expected to follow the command or edict unconditionally and without any qualification. Obedience is something absolute or categorical. One is not expected to pose any question but is asked to take the command or as given, no if and no but. Kant's major contribution to deontological theory. Who is Immanuel Kant? Immanuel Kant is an avid defender of deontological theory, a great German philosopher. A remarkable contribution of history of philosophical thought put him to the same level with the greatest of the greats among the world's foremost thinkers. No other thinker has contributed as many important and brilliant ideas to the philosophical study of ethics as Kant. The good will, the heart of Kant's ethics. An act, right or good and wrong or bad, does not depend on the result of consequences, since all these are simply beyond one's control, hence, a matter of luck or accident. Center of Kant's ethical philosophy, his primary emphasis on the importance of reason, of the unqualified rational nature of moral principles. A philosophy is indeed a strict, hard-headed, and uncompromising view of morality. Grounding for metaphysics of morals. Nothing can be called good without qualification except the goodwill. Duty for duty's sake rather than for personal gain or self-interest. This goes against the ethics of utilitarianism, which prioritizes the consequences that can be achieved in acting. One's motive in doing an act is good and noble, regardless of its consequences or results. You ought to be congratulated for doing the right thing as far as the ethics of Kant is concerned. That's all that matters. You simply have to do the good because it's good. Kant's ethics that is primarily based on goodwill. Duty over inclination. The only act that is worthy to be called moral is an act that is done not out of inclination but one that is done out of duty. One should not be motivated by any other reasons except what emanates from this sense of moral obligation, only and only then that one can truly say that he is acting morally and deserves to be called a moral person. Duty is superior to happiness. According to Kant, being a good person requires us to do what is right out from a sense of duty, moral obligation. Our duties cannot consist simply in following rules that promote pleasure and avoiding of pain and utilitarian's claim, since that would make right action depend upon consequences on how they will satisfy our desires. The rightness or wrongness of an act is determined by its outcomes. The categorical imperative, the universality principle, a maxim is one which the guiding reason or principle for acting under a particular situation, a personal and subjective guiding principle in which act or behave as contrary to an objective and external principle or rule upon which we should act. The notion of categorical imperative, many believe, is where Kant makes his greatest and lasting contribution to ethical thought. He introduces the concept of universalization, which holds that we must universalize our moral judgments. Kant's categorical imperative is expressed in a number of different ways. The most popular formulation is, act only according to the maxim by which you can, at the same time, will that it would become a universal law. According to the particular formulation, the essence of morality lies acting on the basis of impersonal principle that is valid for every person, including oneself. Maxims that cannot be universalized or applied to all without exception on consistent basis are immoral. The maxim breaks down, it is impossible to have a maxim universalized since it is contradict itself and it's self-defeating. The principle of humanity, respect person. For Kant, every human being has a supreme worth and profound dignity. What is the end of a categorical imperative serves? Human person ends or goals by which the categorical imperative serves. All rational beings exist as ends in themselves. As end in themselves, human beings have value that is absolute and unconditional. As a person with absolute and unconditional dignity and value, everyone should be treated with utmost respect. Persons are not instruments or tools that are to be used for further one's interest. We cannot use people to achieve our goals and happiness. Human dignity is something that is intrinsic in us. It makes who we are. In Lecture of Ethics, Kant mentioned and discusses number of duties that we owe to ourselves as a person. He enumerates duties of self such as proper self-respect, self-mastery, duties concerning our bodies as well as duties regarding the way we ought to busy ourselves in work and play. Kant shows the morality does not only concern others but also ourselves. The personal dimensions of morality is often forgotten in other ethical theories that is give emphasis only on social aspect. In Kant, we have mentioned morality covers both personal as well as the social domains of human existence. The autonomy of the will, kingdom of ends, for without personal autonomy, morality becomes an impossibility. When, as autonomous and rational moral agents, we do things following universally valid rules and principles that we have laid down for ourselves, we become part in what Kant calls the kingdom of ends. Kingdom of Ants. Kingdom of Ants is a kind of an ideal, moral universe in which respect for the intrinsic worth and value of all person is exercised by everyone. In this Kingdom of Ants, everyone is equal. Each one, dignity is glorified. Every person noble and valuable subject who is always cherished and never possessed. Critical assessment of deontological ethics. You can pause the video to read or to watch the strengths of deontological ethics, also the weaknesses of deontological ethics. You can also read to our outline the other details about deontological ethics. Thank you for watching.